Continuing my Christmas Chaos kick today, I'm back with the Emperor, Warriors of Chaos versus Norsca. Since I'm up against Norsca, I decided to go with a no Marauder build. We've got Archaon the Ever-Chosen, some Chaos Warriors, Chaos Poison Hounds, 2 Shaggoths, and some Chariots. So pretty narrow, straightforward rush build with no range tools. On the flip side, Wulfric the Wanderer on his Chariot with double Chariot Sorcerers, Death, and Metal. Very strong. Skin Wolves, Ice Trolls, got some more Skin Wolves over here, some Marauder Horsemen, Marauders, and Marauder Great Weapons to round out the infantry. Let's get straight to it. I mean, it's Chaos versus Norsca, so guess what? We're both going to charge at each other. The Chariot's moving straight in with the Shaggoths. Should do pretty well in this initial infantry fight. Meanwhile, a little bit of bumper cars from the armor-piercing Norscan Chariots. And don't ask me why exactly Norscan Chariots have armor-piercing while the Chaos Chariots don't. Well, I guess, yeah, the Norscan regular Chariots are the same, right? It'd be interesting if we had character Chariots for Warriors of Chaos. I think that'd be actually very cool. But anyway, Cascading Fire Cloak, Hunter of Champions, Spirit Leech, and Slayer of Kings all on Archaon at the same time, so just literally every effect in the battle. Also, Burning Head should help roast out some of those Marauder infantry. But we're definitely going to have to be a little bit careful. Those Chariots cycle charging like that. 90 charge on Wulfric, 52 on the Shaman Sorcerers. If they get a surround, they can actually do some pretty considerable damage. You can see he's actually taking some damage here. It's not complete pushover by any means for Archaon. So we're going to have to get him out of combat as he is taking an alarming amount of damage. Soul Blight also debuffing his armor. And weapon strength pretty substantially. Both the Shaggoths going to come over and try and deal with this situation. They can get some attack animations in there. This other Shaggoth also a little bit caught up on some Skin Wolves here. Skin Wolves are just providing some nice mass blocking, and you can see that the Shaggoth, for whatever reason, just can't chad straight through them. Likewise, the Ice Trolls getting in here. They're going to apply some Frostbite, and all of these Norscan monsters are regenerating, whereas I'm just relying on my own monsters' good stats to try and prevent them from taking damage, due to their melee defense and armor and whatnot. But it's not proving super effective so far. We did lose one Shaggoth. At the same time, though, we managed to terrify away some of the Skin Wolves. Most of the infantry's gone. Wulfric's also taking some pretty substantial damage as well, so not looking completely terrible. Definitely still pretty close. The Warriors of Chaos continuing to grind. The fact that all of my infantry is still so healthy is pretty nice. The one Warrior of Chaos over here is getting a little bit lower, but the rest of the infantry hasn't really suffered from the character Chariots because they've been well supported by monsters en masse here. Hunter of Champions is obviously a danger. Archaon once again going to get his melee defense and armor significantly debuffed. We'll drop a little bit of Burning Head to try and proc a Terror Route on those Ice Trolls and the Marauders. The Skin Wolves still have their Frenzy active. Nope, looks like it just drops there, so hopefully they'll get terrified away as well, and we can try and finish off these characters. The Chariots, they just have so much mass, they can just chad through stuff. Nice boat placement as well, going to cut through some of those Warriors. So that damage is starting to tell on my infantry as they get a little bit lower. And Archaon still fighting as well with the Shaggoth. As long as we can hold this main pocket with the character, obviously Archaon more than just a character, he is the Lord of the End Times with the Shaggoth here. We can hold these two, should be fine, but the Javelins, the Spirit Leech, all just chipping away to try and pop that Cascading Fire Cloak to give a little bit of more melee defense as well. The Chariots also coming home to roost. I've got those Chaos Chariots trying to rout off the Icehorns Marauders, even rear charging some of the Skin Wolves. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. We've got most of the Skin Wolves routed off. Wulfric's still alive. This Shaman Sorcerer is still somewhat healthy. But as long as we can deal with the Javelin Horsemen, should be okay. But just kidding, we've got some Ice Trolls coming back from route, and in terms of unit models, I mean, there's still 7 and 6 unit models on those Skin Wolves, and I definitely can't chase them off. I really don't have the mobility tools in order to do so. So all of a sudden, I'm like, maybe we had a good break right there, but also maybe not. If the Shaggoth ends up going down here to the Marauder Horseman and to the Shaman Sorcerer, Spirit Leech also on Archaon, I mean, Archaon has long just feared Spirit Leech. Literally, if you want to end the end times, just Spirit Leech Archaon. He has a really solid amount of HP. That's kind of his best defense against it. But, you know, in years past, it was much worse. Nowadays, the Spirit Leech isn't that impactful, but definitely over time, continuous Spirit Leech can help chip away. And at this point, I mean, Archaon and Wolfric are going to circle each other a few times. Archaon all of a sudden realizing, like, oh, Shaggoth is gone. I really don't have any support in this vicinity. The Chariots, I try and get into support, but they actually end up blocking Archaon in, so he can't escape. And he goes down to Wolfric right there. So, guess who's the new Ever-Chosen? Yep, it's Wolfric. That's correct. With Archaon going down, it's going to be rough for me to try and finish anything. And, I mean, the Warriors of Chaos will, I mean, the actual Chaos Warriors will continue to grind here for some time. But the regeneration of the Ice Trolls and the Skin Wolves means that, you know, I'm really facing an uphill battle if I can't route them and chase them off, which maybe the Chariots could chase them off if I could route them, but the Hounds are definitely not going to do anything. Their leadership's way too low at this point, and in general, all my units are going to suffer severe leadership issues. Brutal charge from the Ice Trolls here. It's one of the few times I've actually seen Ice Trolls do, like, pretty well. Maybe not pay for themselves, but tactically quite useful in terms of providing that little slingshot effect, that rubber banding effect, if you will, coming back in the battle. The Emperor able to take one off me there, so very fun one, have to say. I thought I was in a good position there, but realizing that the regeneration came back to bite me. Those Skin Wolves and Ice Trolls. Man, the Ice Trolls actually did better than one of the Skin Wolves, which is pretty impressive. The other Skin Wolf, though, 1755, pretty impressive. Shaggoths probably didn't pay for themselves. One of them got pretty close. The other one suffered pretty badly there. It's risky taking Shaggoths against Norsca because they're sort of a... like, their theming as a faction is around monster hunting, so they generally tend to be very good at killing single-entity monsters. So, as a rule of thumb, taking big, expensive single entities against them is risky, but can pay for itself sometimes. I mean, Archaon certainly can, especially the fact that he's a smaller, large, armored single entity. Not monster, but monster in a different way. Likewise, the Warriors of Chaos, all very cost-effective here. It's one advantage you have, you know, Chaos versus Norsca, obviously, is your heavy infantry, and they didn't have to fight any Berserkers or anything like that, so they did just fine. Chariots also do decently. I mean, they survive until the late game, but really didn't have a lot of light infantry to go after. Boys, Moorhounds, some of them do okay, most of them do not. On the Emperor's side here, Wolfric faced some initial pain, but came back with the other two Charioteers, and were able to do some really good damage. I forgot, I really like this like triple character Chariot squad. It's quite strong in a number of situations. Anytime you're going to be facing armored infantry, like Warriors of Chaos, Dwarfs are two pretty prominent examples that spring to mind. Yeah, the Ice Trolls we already talked about. Horsemasters also do pretty decently. Marauders just kind of get raffle stomped, but hey, that happens sometimes. One of them pays for itself, so there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you next time.